I was like, I don't know about no dang salt
Oh,
lamp. I never heard of a salt lamp in
first
my
thing I was
life.
live. I didn't even know I was live. That was my green room prep talk.
That was right. Yeah, I'm set. I just call it a setup. That's what it's called. It's
You
called a
set
setup.
me up,
Setting Emunah
everybody.
up.
Greetings and welcome.
Oh, thank you guys for tuning in to the Fleet Matthews Show, After Hours with Emunah Y'srael, our Melanated Conversations. And as you know, Emunah Y'srael is the author of My Brother, My Keeper, phenomenal book for parents and kids. The Angry Black Woman Revisited, one of my favorites. The Bamidbar, and soon to be released Soulonomics.
Yes.
Welcome back, my dear.
Thank you for having me. All praise be to the Most High. Another beautiful episode. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm good. Another beautiful episode. Now, last week I was turned up. The moon was talking about my coffee. I don't have no coffee with me today, so maybe I'll be all right. Maybe I'll be a little calm. I got a little water here with me. But boy, what a difference a week makes. I mean, this week has been absolutely insane. Now, had it not been for these two murders, if you will, because that's what they are, in Charlotte, North Carolina, and in Oklahoma, we would be talking about also Donald Trump, and talking about, how many of you, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if they're still around, Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus.
Yeah, I think they're still around.
So that's what happened. They went to it was like that. Don King, you go to this church and you have Don King represent you and introduce you. And Don King has become a caricature of a caricature. And this man drops the N-word as he's talking about and getting ready to introduce Donald Trump, who is trying not to be looked upon as a racist and trying to get the black vote. And it was to me like it was like watching the, you remember when we did our first show and you introduced us and talked to us about the minstrel shows that they used to do back in the day? Mm-hmm. And when he dropped the N-word, Donald Trump smirked and laughed, and there was another white guy that laughed uncontrollably. There was a brother behind him. I'm sorry, I know you don't like this word, Emunah, and you don't like it when I use it.
About to do it. You're gonna call him. They're gonna call him the C word.
Yeah, we'll call him the C word. It was a coon behind him. He was just cooning and clowning, and just laughing. And I wanted to reach through the screen and just snatch that. You know, like my mama used to say, if you say one more thing, I'm gonna snatch a knot out of your ass. I don't know if you probably never, because you're a girl.
I never heard that one.
You a girl, your mama would never say that to you, but if she probably said it, ask your brothers. All men in the family has had a knot snatched out their ass by their mama. That's what I wanted to do to them. And it was absolutely, it was surreal and unreal at the same, which is what surreal means. But it was painful to watch.
Now, I have to say, honestly, I heard in passing, but I did not hear the context. So I'm not able to do my normal Emunah analyzation of it. What was the context in which the original person, Don King, said what he said? What was the context? It was just in a story, like...
I don't... so, all I heard was the N-word. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Well, he was trying to use the word Negro because it's not his normal word. His normal word is the N-word.
Right.
So he was using, in lieu of the N-word, he was using Negro to describe various types of Negroes. Whether you are I guess a bourgeoisie Negro or an educated Negro or so and so. But he made what's called a Freudian slip.
Right.
And used the N-word in replace of that. And they just let. Now I don't know if it was just uncontrollable laugh, but I would think the pastor of the church, I would think, would get up and say, or somebody would say something to correct him, or I don't know, something. It was just unreal.
I'm gonna be a little controversial now.
Oh Lord! Now I thought you said you weren't gonna do that.
I wasn't gonna.
My job. I'm the one that's supposed to be cussing and clowning.
No, I'm gonna be a little controversial. Question. If this is something that they say, and this is the way in which he expresses himself, on an ongoing basis, right? And this is what some of, quote, Black and, quote, white America, because we all know the social constructs, express themselves. And they have like kind of time traveled this word into the present, used in the same context.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we mad? Like, are we able to pinpoint what part of the equation is upsetting? Is it just because they said it? Because again, you're living in a country that birthed this derogatory terminology. You understand? You're living in a space where it has never changed, whether or not it became PC or not, to in their own spaces call you this and call one another this. So my question is, what part about that, them saying this, hurts or it's upsetting?
Well, what's upsetting and hurts is, one, I don't associate myself with that term. It is a derogatory term that I do not wish to be called, publicly or privately. I am guilty as charged of using the word. I am using salt lamps to heal myself, to remove, to cleanse myself from that word, especially when I put it out in the ethers around me. You know I'm ignorant, girl. You know I ain't got no damn sense.
Today.
You know I got no sense. You know I'm gonna mess with you for life with this. You know that. That's why I love you so. So I'm gonna put
click on that link, get them salt lamps.
I am. I'm gonna click it on the damn. We'll get one. So inside joke, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all will know it in a minute because we're gonna put the link up. Anyway, so but I'm trying to cleanse myself of this term, and I'm trying to cleanse myself of the which I don't know if I can, the baggage of the term, because it's post-traumatic slave syndrome. When you associate yourself and start speaking to yourself as your oppressor, they got you. Remember, we did a show 2-3 weeks ago about you have to accept the fact that slavery and the breaking down of the melanated mind was successful. So whenever we use the N-word in any context, in any form or format, we are saying my brain, my mind, my melanated mind was successfully broken because I am personifying the slave mentality as a result of using this word and embracing it.
I hope you don't mind if I dig a little deeper into this wound. Hopefully you won't pop up.
I don't know. Well, as long as you don't put a salt lamp in it.
No, look. What does it mean when? Because apparently, this conversation has been going back and forth for years. It doesn't mean the same with the ER and the A. What does it mean with the ER? And what does it mean with the A? Is it the same thing? Because the reason I'm asking, because in that space where this word was used by both, quote, Black and white people alike, it had a certain meaning, but at the same time, it did not only mean slave, because you could call somebody a free N, or, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that free such and such over there. And they would use this.
Let's look at the root of the word. The word means ignorance.
Okay, so
it's a derogatory term, like we would use a derogatory term against someone of Arab descent or Hispanic descent, or we have those, or Asian descent. We have those despicable epithets that we use.
Right.
They are not appropriate regardless of how you want to put it in context. Whether it's an NA or an ER, it's not appropriate. And it should be, well, that's why they don't use the word. It's so vile, they don't call it, they don't use the word, they call it the N word, which takes some emotional sting out of it. But nonetheless, when you hear it, whether it's from us or from someone else, non-melanated, it still has that sting.
Okay. like I said, as I read it, and I first, when I began to read these narratives and saw melanated people, enslaved individuals, people who used to be enslaved, using it very freely, very liberally. You know what I'm saying? Like shea butter, you know what I mean? All over. And at first, I'm like, should I skip over it or should I just read it as it is written? Because I'm wondering if at this time, stop it. If at this time we're still hung up that this word, not saying right, wrong, or indifference, and I definitely hear what it is that you're saying as it relates to it's a derogatory term, but it is a lingering one. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, why is it still lingering? And if we shy away from it, is it gonna go away, or is it still gonna be that there still has a level of power because it's still able to invoke within us an emotion?
Well, isn't that defeating? So is, I mean, you know, I don't know if this, what is this called? I don't know. It's not a double entendre, but is using the word as a term of endearment really taking the power away from the word itself?
This is my question, because this is what I'm saying. The word is repurposed. This is what I'm saying.
I mean, I don't know. I really, look, you know, there are melanated people who that if they use that word to me, with me, in the wrong manner, it means there's going to be some police tape and furniture moving.
No.
Okay, so there's it's you know, you don't get to call me that,
Right,
because you look like, because we both black and we're both melanated. You know, so I don't see how that could, and maybe it's generational, because you know I'm a different age group.
right.
So the, you know, the older you are, the more, you know, the more difficult that word is to deal with, particularly those who are older, you know, that would be my parents, or and so on. It's like, oh ho 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 ho, you know. And it's interesting because my generation is more upset about it than even the older generation, because the older generation unfortunately has become so used to it from the negative side.
Right.
The new generation is used to it as a term of endearment. So the older generation, so I'm kind of stuck in the middle here of two damn generations.
Yes.
I'm tired of y'all messing with me, because my older people,
go get a piece.
It's the ER, and it, you know, it just sends them fuming and shaking and ready to take out some white people. Then the newer generation is like, oh, what's the big deal? It's the you know, the GGA group, and they're like, hey, it's a term of endearment. It's in all the rap songs. It's in all the music. It's like, hey, what's up, my, you know, and you know, oh, that's my, you know, oh, check out this, you know, here, and it's used in just everyday vernacular, and it's no big deal. But then you have us that's stuck in the middle and saying, I don't think it's right on either side.
Right.
With the ER or the A, I don't care. If you say it, you know, just, you know, have your affairs in order, get your insurance policies together, MetLife, whatever. Get some Obamacare or something. Sign up for that. Make sure you do that beforehand, because you might not be able to function to do it after.
I think this is a discussion, though, Brother Philippe, and it because again, like you brought up Donald Trump and what he's saying it from his side. The Europeans are laughing from their side, and everybody has appropriated this word to mean different things, like you say, depending on your generation, depending where you're born. And for one little word to have, it's like it's like the word love. Everybody has a different interpretation of what it means, and I think the conversation is necessary. You understand what I'm saying? Kind of like what we're doing right now, because we can't go back in time and change your thought process. But at the same time, the thought, like you said, the thought process of those that's my generation and going forward, they're like, what are you talking about? I don't see it. It doesn't have the same effect. And that's just our realities, you know.
Now, let me ask you this. So if someone white came up to you and called you the N-word, there would not be at least a chair or or a salt lamp moved. I mean, I'm just saying, would there be some?
Brother Felipe, he liking my salt lamp, y'all.
I'm loving the salt lamps, people. I'm loving these dang salt lamps. After she told me what they do, I'm like, oh, really?
I'm telling you.
Put a link up at the bottom of this for her. Put a link up so y'all can go and get you a damn salt lamp. Save your life.
Don't get me off on the salt lamps, but
don't get yours. Okay, but no, if somebody came up and called you that, what would you do?
Okay, as you know what is funny, as you said, okay, and like you have the evolutionary Emunah that's growing, but as you ask that question, I have to be honest, the old school Emunah just popped up in my mind, you know, and and actually it's the Jamaican one.
Oh shit! Oh snap! Let me get off camera. Let me. Okay, I'm over here with it.
It's the Jamaican one. So
we don't want, man. That's ooh.
Because truthfully, that has never happened.
Thank God.
It's like in Caribbean, around Caribbean people, if you say something that someone is not willing to accept, or they think you came out, of course here they call it like your mama. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you the truth. That's the first thing that came to my mind, like your mama. You know what I'm saying? So it's like to give it back to you. And it's funny because as I look at these cultural Nigerian movies, they do the same thing. When you say something that they are not willing to accept, they tell you back to sender. You understand what I'm saying? And so it's that kind of move. Like, you didn't get, that's not mine. So I'm not going to take it on. I'm not going to carry that. That's yours. Take it back. It's like somebody delivering mail, but you don't live there. So,
nice.
Right? Person does not live here, wrong address. I don't have to accept. If you could choose to do what you want, you can't control what somebody does. I can control if I choose to accept it. So the initial response for me was that, you know, I'll give it back to you. But again, you could give it back in all different ways, you know. And so that's basically what I would do. Give it back.
Oh, I'll give it back.
Yeah, give it back to you. Meaning,
I'll definitely give it back.
This is not mine. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, I saw this happen recently. There was a girl. It went on social media and it went viral. She was in a park and she called the melanated man this.
Yes, I remember that.
And it's like for them, that's empowering. When I can demean you, when I can deface you, when I can say something that's going to make you quiver. I'm not quivering. Excuse me? You know what I'm saying? Like, you talking to me? Because sometimes you have cowardly people that throw out things and then try to run. But I'm not. So in that situation, depends on where you are and what's going on. That will determine how you're going to deal with the situation and wisdom. But definitely, once we heal those spaces, and again, you know, like I said, you know, in the heat of the moment, you might be reactionary and just be like, you know, want to say so nice words to them. But that's also going to feed into that negativity. So,
well, this is why I respect you so, is that you will take the higher road, and it's always easy to be a pre Monday night quarterback on what you would do in that situation.
Yeah.
And say how you're going to react. It's really more about, this is how I would like to react, but I really don't know how I'm going to react if it happened.
People don't walk around saying these words to me often. I mean, except on YouTube. I mean, they've been saying a lot of crazy.
Oh, yeah, I get it on YouTube. Like, I block them and delete.
People come up to me, Europeans, all day long. I don't know why. I do know why, but they are very forward in approaching me. So, like I said, recently I've been looking with Recently, I've been.
I'm going to need to mute the microphone on that one. That was.
Yeah, because she's like, "Oh, can I go for recess?" No, I'm talking. So recently, I have 4 children, and now I'm babysitting during the day my niece. So that's 5. So when I go outside now with 5 children, looking like I'm 12, it's just invite themselves up. Oh, you're walking with a gang, huh? Oh, you got a lot of children, huh? oh, are all those yours? See, these are all things that, depending on the type of mother you are, yes, and I don't do that. I get it. Ask my child. I get it all day long. Are those all those your children? And I'm like, yeah. You know, and I say stuff. I say little stuff like, yeah, I'm building Social Security. Because when I get old, they're gonna pass me some water, like my mother always say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And all of them are gonna bring you some water. You know what I mean?
Working on the new Jackson 5. Okay, shut up.
So, but the point of the matter is, if you don't control within, you will be the person who goes off on them at all points.
Yeah.
I just let them rock out. You ask me a silly question, you might get a silly answer, or you might get an educational lesson. It depends on how I feel that day.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
you know, everything's short of ghetto hoochie mama. You know, what she doing with all these children? Oh, they say smart things like, "Wow, how old are all of them? You know, how old are they?" And I'm like, is that a smart way of trying to, because funny enough, now my niece is 2 and my daughter is 2. So it looks like I have 4 children all under 5. So they're like, oh, and then they wait till I go to the cash register to see if I'm gonna bust out my WIC check. You know what I'm saying? These are the type of things that is embedded in the society. I'm telling you, it happens every time I go outside. So the point of the matter is, like you said, is what you would do. But I've been approached so much in a vein that could get you upset, and I just choose not to allow it to really take me. It's annoying, but I don't go curse nobody out or nothing. So
okay, all right, that's good. That's good. All right. Whew.
I'm in the field, Philippe. I'm in the field.
All right. Okay. No, I'm feeling good about this. I don't have to go and reach for my coffee.
No. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it mellow this week. We trying to
now, I feel bad of having to say this term, and that is, here we go again.
Yeah.
And I say it, unfortunately, in every show. Here we go again. And unfortunately, this is not the last one. And it hurts me to have to be able to say that. To know that this is, one of many that we are going to experience in our lifetime, of another fatal shooting of an unarmed black man by the hands of the police. Now, I just got this from CNN. The Tulsa police officer who fatally shot 40-year-old Terrence Crutcher last week has been charged with manslaughter in the 1st degree. The district attorney says, well, that's pretty serious. 1st degree manslaughter, that's pretty much bye-bye. Now, of course, you've got to go through the prosecution and all of that, but they're not trying to hide the fact that she was in the wrong and she just murdered a man for no reason. Now, Donald Trump even said maybe she choked. But beyond choking, we know that there is an implicit inherent bias. And we've talked about this on previous shows. Matter of fact, you were on the show with Dr. Howard Stevenson and Dr. Joy DeGruy, which we called our Melanated Avengers show. And Dr. Howard, we talked about this concept of white fright, and flight, where there was a study done where some white or Eurasian people, when they see particularly a black man, a large black man, dark-skinned black man, and a black man with a deep voice, that it triggers a response in them similar to seeing a spider or a snake. Now, this is scientific proof. This is not just the label of racism or playing the race card. This is a scientific fact, and that has been peer reviewed and studied. Now, the other part of that is that there's this guy in a helicopter saying that looks like a bad dude right there, putting the label on him, like, just by looking at this big black man. I'm a big black man. I guess I'm a bad dude, especially if I put my dark sunglasses on. I guess I'm just, just start shooting before you walk out, before I walk out the damn house, because I'm a big black, I guess I'm a big bad black dude too. And got a big voice box. So she's being charged. The female, white female officer is being charged for manslaughter. Now, interestingly enough, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they are having peaceful vigils and at churches and things, and you know, we could talk about that, singing, you know, various different "Kumbaya, My Lord" songs or what have you. And we're now in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina. You know, people are getting shot, violent protesting, because the police will not shot and killed a man who, you know, has a past, a little bit, you know, track record, which they always do. They always vilify you. So they try to justify why, well, they're all black and they're all crime people and they should, you know, so they're just cleaning the house, just cleaning up the streets. Killed an unarmed black man who's supposedly sitting in his car reading a book. But they won't release the tape. They won't release the footage as to what happened. Now, we saw in the Walter Scott case how the cop came and put the gun down and planted the gun next to him, and it happened to get caught on tape. So we know that, you know, this is what they do. But the outrage in the streets last night in Charlotte, North Carolina, now that tonight they're bringing in the National Guard, and we're looking at Baltimore and Ferguson, perhaps worse, because last night somebody got shot and they're in critical condition. They might die. They almost died. So it's really serious, and that's a protester. So what do we do? What do we do? We sit up and we'll do a show about it, talk about it. But what can we do about it?
That's like you said, here we go again. Like you said, I asked that question, like, what are we gonna do now? There's certain things that are in my estimation wrong with the whole equation and our expectations. Again, like I said, you're still living in the abuser's home. So it's gonna be, you're gonna have these type of incidents because you're still in the house that you were abused in. Like, you weren't given your 40 acres in a mule. You don't have autonomy. You don't have the ability. And this is the problem that is embedded within society. And if we keep just looking at the offshoots of it, we'll never solve the problem. You understand what I'm saying, Brother Philippe? Because we're going to keep coming back to those people who are in power, are representative of those people who were in power, and they still passed on, like the slave here, I didn't want me to bring it up, but they still passed on the same mentality. You're not here to rule. We are here to rule, and you are here to be our subjects. And so therefore you are subject to whatever it is that we say. You're still in the place. So maybe you may have one or two success stories, but as a melanated people, you're still here. And this is something that the world now, this conversation of, like you see in people in places that are being oppressed on this level, and they look for asylum in different places. We're talking about, for me, the problem is it needs to be looked at on that level. Like, you're in a place that you're not wanted. What are you going to do? What is the world going to do? Is the world going to hold America accountable? Because they're watching. But this is not a little isolated. The problem will continue to be exasperated. Why? Because the condition that created the problem still exists. So that's, like you said, we from 2014 to 2007 to 1999 to 1860, whatever, it's the same thing. Did you hear Willie got shot? Did you hear Johnny got hung? Did you hear it's nothing changed. Our foreparents, those were having the same conversations, but it was on this forum. There was like, did you hear what happened on the Johnson plantation? The conversation never changed. It never changed, Brother Philippe. And for us, for me, to us, we need to be real with that, because every generation thinks something is new. It's not, because Emmett Till's mother had to have the same conversation as Mike Brown's mother, as Sandra Bland's mother. They're all having the same conversation because the same environment to a large degree exists. And so what are we talking about? Are we talking about nickel and diamond, or are we talking about bigger scale conversations? Because for really, that's what it's going to take. If you can understand what I'm saying, because you're still in the place that caused the injury to begin with.
Well, with that being said, and
What?
that being factual, actually, obviously, let's talk about. I'd like your opinion on peaceful protesting versus protesting. I mean, because the word protest means to go against something that is oppressing you. How should a community, a collective of people, respond who are denied economic prosperity, who are castrated academically, who are forced to involve themselves in some type of survival activity because they're not able to get traditional jobs, they're not able to get traditional education. What are they supposed to do when they are oppressed? How are they supposed to act? Are they supposed to hold hands and march down the street and then go home after this?
Well, that hasn't worked.
Right. I'm not trying to make light of this at all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not trying to be funny about it because there's nothing funny about it. But I'm like, kumbaya, my Lord, give me a break. It's like, come on, what do you expect to happen? And well, they're tearing up their own neighborhoods. Well, if they had money, they'd probably get in a car. If they don't, some of them don't have a car to get in a car. They go over and mess up your damn neighborhood. But right now, they can't get over there. Right now, the buses ain't running.
I think, like people, like you said, I don't think either one of those are working as it relates to tearing down where you are or peaceful protest. None of that is working. A lot of people, when you see, like, we react differently than other nations. Well, let's just say Europeans at this point. When they're disgruntled to a large degree, they're going to go to whoever's in charge so that they can deal with the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But we're disgruntled, make a lot of noise, and then go back as we were. We, to a certain degree, like, again, for instance, I'll use the boycotts that they did back in the 60s for the bus. They were disgruntled, and so they crippled the bus system.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So it's like we have to take some level of accountability. Where are you disgruntled? Now you have to sacrifice. Not just one night of passion, cracking on crazy. That's not going to do nothing. You have to now be committed to whatever you were disgruntled about to make sure that change comes about.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, oh yeah, we boycotted last week and now we back on it. No, to my understanding, that boycott went on for months and months and months and months and months.
Well, somebody suggested that there should be an economic protest. I completely agree with that. We have been talking about it and saying that we need to start promoting, Black businesses and what have you. But what we haven't been talking about is that, if we need to stop giving that dollar away. The African American dollar bounces. Less
than a time and a half.
It's some crazy.
Yeah, it's a low number.
Hard to deal with number. And if we did an economic boycott, an economic protest, that would send a ripple effect to the city. And in fact, in North Carolina, it's already started because they had. I think it was something about. It was one of their laws. I forgot what it was that discriminated against the transgender and LGBT community. And so one of the major sports companies is not bringing in their team and their events. So they've lost, X amount of millions of dollars to city that it would normally make. So is this is that viable to protest financially when you really don't have anything? You can't buy anything. You're really not buying a lot anyway, and then you would have to go to you'd have to get on the bus and go to another location to get the thing that you're not buying because it's in your name, it's white. How do you successfully financially boycott?
That's a good question. You know, when you say financially boycott, what came to my mind immediately is what our people use goods and services for to a large degree. And that ties back into our self-esteem. And so on a large degree, even though we may be broke, we're spending because we want it to make us feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you talk about boycott, what you are going to, and we run up into, are some issues as it deals with the self. Because it has to do with self-control, it has to do with self-esteem. You know, what you mean I can't get my nails done?
Mm-hmm.
What you mean I can't get my nails done? What you mean I can't feel good about myself when I come from the nail shop, because other than my hair and my nails, I don't feel good about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? So when you talk about boycotting certain things, you're really going to have to get all the healers on deck, because you're going to have a meltdown.
No doubt. Well, I'd be one of them, because I'm like, somebody say, well, Philippe, you're gonna have to chill on that scotch and that bourbon, son.
Yeah.
You're
gonna have a meltdown, because these are the things
we're gonna have you thought it was a crime and protest in the street before. You're
gonna have a meltdown. So when you said that my healing mind come on, I'm like, you better be ready, because it's not, we're spending emotionally. You understand what I'm saying? We're spending.
That's a very, very good point you bring up. Wow, that's huge.
So it's not just let's boycott.
It's not just our necessities of eating and what have you. It's you're right. The rest of it is pretty much emotionally based to deal with the oppressive environment we're living in.
So you're talking about people who have to, again, Soulonomics, you have to go inside of yourself and really begin to purge, so that you understand that without this, I am still who I am. The majority of us do not have that. We have not gone through that process. And what you're going to have is a lot of cranky, disgruntled, they're going to take that negative energy, and either they're going to turn it inward or they're going to turn it outward. Because remembering, people go shop therapy. Why? Because after they go through that impulse shopping, they feel better for a second, and then they go back again. A lot of people are on a fix. So when you talk about that, they don't want to let it go. We be like, why can't you just let it go? Because it's deeper. You understand? So that's my thoughts on the economic boycott. Can it be done? Of course. Will it be done? Will the people be willing to do it? I think the people are right now dependent on the very things, and not in a way where, like you said, it's not necessities. In that way, it's more internal. You know,
that is a very good point.
Little by little, though, it's like the natural hair revolution. It's little by little, and when they see other people doing it, but now they're getting dependent on the other side. You know what I'm saying? So now I need all of these products to give me the baby hair and the waves in the front end. And just transfer that energy over here. Who has the biggest afro? Who has the shiniest locks? And so, again, all of our self-esteem is still tied up into our appearance.
Wow. Well, then, I guess we will see the National Guard tonight. And we will see what, because now, let's end it with this conversation, and that is, what's going on with North Carolina when they're talking about we're not going to show the tape? They said they're going to show the dash cam video to the family, but there's much more video than that. What's going on when they say they're not going to release this to the public for the public to see? Do you think that is a right of the police department, the public who doesn't trust the police department and law enforcement, and then here you have the families in the middle of that as well, because this is their loved one that they lost.
Right. I think there's a shuttle. Watch out from there. I think there's a lot of stuff going on with that. It may be, politics. It may be, again, all of the backlash, all of the things that come out, because now the videos come out and people tear it apart. They pick it apart. They see, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, we want to cover this over so that we don't see the fullness of what. And again, the American public has had so much of it. Maybe, who knows? They're trying to save face. I don't really know what exactly their motivation is, but based on the things that just alone in this year. And by the way, an update, Sandra Bland's family got $1.9 million settled wrongful death lawsuit.
That's it?
That was from last year. So I don't know what they went through, because I followed that story last year. I followed it intensely, like from a Soulonomics point of view. So just to hear that, I heard that like this week. And, you know, there's so many things. Again, her thing was caught on video. So when these things are caught on video, as it relates to video and everybody, it's all disclosed. You understand what I'm saying? I guess they're taking a different approach. You know what I mean? Or to create, who knows? It might have the opposite effect. We don't know. We just have to kind of wait.
Is it a situation where, you know, it's almost like you're damned if you do and damned if you don't?
Yeah. It's the whole culture. Is, you know, when something is in the fabric, you know, I don't know if you ever eat curry before, but curry is a thing where if it get on your white clothes, even if you wash it a million times, it is not coming out. It has turmeric in there, and the turmeric stains your clothing. This, what we're talking about, Brother Philippe, is in the fabric. It's like curry to white clothing.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? So we're talking like, yeah, but we keep washing it, but we keep washing it. I still see it, but we keep washing it. I still see it. You understand what I'm saying? And we have to be honest about that. And I don't think there's not enough honesty about that on both sides. That, listen, honestly, truly, yeah, this is in the fabric. So it's like, how much can you really expect from this? Like, yeah. What I mean? Well, why you got so much high hopes? Like, what book were you reading? You know, what TV show you watching? Like, where are these? Where's your expectations coming from? Exactly.
Wow, thank you for that. That's a beautiful metaphor with the curry and the fabric. Yeah, it's in the fabric.
It's in the fabric.
Well,
Might could wear a button over it or some little sash.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe, you know. Can we get a zipper or something in the fabric? I mean, geez.
Or dress it.
This is crazy, man.
It's what I'm saying. Where are we? What are we talking about? Because on the other side of that, I heard somebody say, when we're talking about the system, we don't mean we actually ready to take it over, because there's a lot of stuff we ain't doing. I'm like, here we go. Yeah. Are you ready to, if you got a land the size of, you know, I don't know, you know, they got small countries. Right. Okay, disgruntled melanated people, you know, we're going to give you, you know, some land the size of Georgia, you know, and you're not even on the United States. Are you ready?
We kill each other.
Are you ready?
It would be it'll be one person left, whoever that is.
I can't. This is what I'm saying. This is the stuff. This is how I think.
Unbelievable. It'd be like locked on an island somewhere.
Or you know, you would have to be ready. You would have to. We have the skills because we do it for other people.
Right.
We have the skills. It's not a matter about skills. It's a matter about mentally. Are you thinking in the capacity to be able to run your country righteously? Because there's many examples of people running countries wickedly. So you don't want to just be like, oh, this country is not right. And then you go, this countries in the Caribbean, you have black police officers, so-called black police officers, and you have melanated citizens, and you still have police violence. So I don't buy into it's a black and white thing, because you go into other places, they look just like you, and they're beating you over the head. It's a power thing, Brother Philippe. And if you were responsible for such a country, running such a place, would it be successful? Would children, when you have no one else to blame, are you ready for that? And until we're ready to have that conversation and begin to see and do the things in this very place to show that you're ready for that, we ain't ready.
Great point. Wow, that's good stuff.
When you the one, if you don't plant, you don't eat. You ready? If you don't teach, they don't learn. You ready?
Wow.
Because it's easy to talk
about put up or shut up. That's exactly what this is.
I don't like to say the word shut up, but yeah, put up or you know what?
Yeah.
Because if I can't take my children, I can't wait to school, you ain't ready.
Right.
That's what they yours. I don't like dirt under my fingernails. You ain't ready, because how you gonna eat? Right. What's gonna be your gross national product? What are you gonna be exporting? What are you gonna be importing? What are your resources? Are you ready? These are the conversations. Who knows what? Putting them together, training, all of these things. You look at countries around the world. This is what they have: infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's do a conference. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to make it. Oh, that's too much money. Okay, you know what? Forget about it.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, let's do it on the computer. My computer was down. My internet wasn't working. Okay, you know what? Go get a salt lamp. You might need it to calm yourself down.
Get that salt lamp, damn it. That's exactly right. It'll make it all better.
But that's my thoughts, Brother Flea. That you know, it gets to that point. We ready or we not? Because we have things on the table, but there's so much wrong. There's so much wrong that we have to at least start with what is right and then work from there.
That's good. That's good. All right, Sister Emunah, we're going to keep this one short and sweet and to the point.
All right.
Good conversation.
Yeah.
You know, I got to kind of brace myself for tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, if you're watching live or if you're going to share this later, send some healing thoughts, prayers, consciousness to all of our brothers and sisters that are fighting the good fight in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, and to the families that have lost their family member this week, and to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to the family, and to the families, to the friends, to the social networking environment that individual that man had, and just love up on Tulsa and love up on Charlotte, North Carolina. We'll see you guys next time on the